Good evening, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode yet again here at WILDMAN Lifts. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now on tonight's episode, and yes, I did say tonight because now that we're getting into the colder months, the sun is going down a lot sooner than I would like, and incidentally, that also means it gets a lot colder. So we're going to be working out at nighttime. I do like nighttime, I just don't like the fact that it's cold. And I'm going to have to spend a lot more time making sure that my body is warmed up before I start getting into the heavier weights, just to reduce that likelihood of injury. Because this is the time when a lot of injuries start to happen on people. So on tonight's menu, we have the circus dumbbell. And of course, we'll be doing that in giant set format. We're mainly going to be working on that lateral plane of the body, which is focusing on one side and the other. And also the obliques, and also trying to make sure that I'm getting nice and warm as the evening continues on. So let's jump into tonight's workout and let's see what we did today. Now for today's giant set, I'm doing the circus dumbbell, and I'm just moving it from one hand to the next between each reps. And I'm just going to go up by feel and see how it feels as I go up. But the plan is to hit the monster dumbbell today, at least on the right hand. So let's see if I do that. Wish me luck. And I'm also going to be doing some 6-way windmills in between. This is a great way to work your shoulder mobility and to blast your obliques as you're going up in weight, and to make sure that they're nice and warm as you're going up in weight. And I'm also going to be running back and forth in a 100-meter shuttle run across the bullpen like this. And by the time I'm done, it's going to be 1 mile total of running at all of the end of the workout. But I'm mainly doing this just to stay warm because it's so cold, and making sure that I'm nice and warm as the weight gets up to my top set. So that's the giant set for the day. Now there's 2 reasons why I'm training with the circus dumbbell. First of all, the circus dumbbell really isn't that hard. It's really all about technique. I've met guys and girls that can do the circus dumbbell very well, and they have very weak shoulders, especially when it comes to the seated dumbbell press. But then I ask guys that are really good at the seated dumbbell press, who can do 100-pound dumbbells for reps, and I say, hey, put the 100-pound dumbbell on your shoulder standing and press it up overhead, and they have a really hard time doing that. And that's just because it all comes down to technique. And that's why I'm training in this manner, is because Strongman actually compete and train with dumbbells like the circus dumbbell, the monster dumbbell, or other weird implements like this, because that's part of the competition. So that's one reason why I'm training with it, because I am considered to be a strongman, and that is what they use to get better at the circus dumbbell. And the second reason why I'm doing this is because this is a great unilateral exercise to do when you're trying to isolate one side of your body. Now basically, unilateral is a fancy word meaning one side of your body at a time. So if I was to divide myself in half, which would just be the left side of my body and the right side of my body, lifting up a heavy weight can be very hard for people who work out with only barbells and other implements that are even on both sides, like even with the log, axle, or a barbell, because those are made to be lifted. And you can get caught up using your dominant side. Let's say for me, it's like the right side. I'll be able to lift maybe 70% of that weight because my right side is strong, and my left side won't be getting equal amount of work as my right side. So in order to make sure that the left side is getting an equal workout, it's kind of a good idea to do unilateral exercises like the circus dumbbell or with the 6-way windmills with kettlebells, to really make sure that each side of your body is getting an equal amount of work. And that way, you're not going to favor one side. That way, when you start going up a weight on the barbells, you'll kind of notice that your offhand is going to be the weaker, slower side. And if you want to make that even, then you got to make sure that you're doing unilateral exercises to make sure that it's nice and even. So now we're coming up into my top set, which is going to be 120 pounds. And this is going to be my top set for both arms. I want to hit this with the right and the left. I would end up hitting this with my left hand after my top set, which is going to be the monster dumbbell. But this was just to kind of see how it would feel. You could see it went pretty well with the right hand, but I was feeling a little bit slow through the middle, which makes me kind of nervous because the left hand, I knew it'd have to be a lot faster and a lot more poppier from the shoulder. This actually went faster than the right hand, probably because I got a lot more serious in my mindset before I lifted it. So after I did my windmills, I was going to give the monster dumbbell a shot. I knew I wasn't going to be able to lift it with my left hand, The left hand is just not ready for it, considering where I am with my surgery. So my surgery recovery is going to be limiting my left hand on the monster dumbbell. But I was happy with this because that monster dumbbell is a lot harder to lift. It's 130 pounds, and it actually went up pretty wobbly, but I was able to stabilize it and even strike a pose as I did it. So that made me very happy. Now the circus dumbbells absolutely blasted my shoulders, so they were pretty tired, and I was kind of debating what to do for the variation giant set. What I ended up doing was the seated barbell press, and I kind of went back and forth between doing a high incline bench press or this, and I kind of ended on this because I typically do seated dumbbell press after I do my log, barbell, and axle overhead, because again, doing the seated dumbbell press is working unilateral positions. So it makes everything unbalanced and uneven as you're going up, and you have to struggle to balance those weights. Well, since I got that today with the circus dumbbell, now I wanted to have a nice, easy transitional thing where I could overload the movement, and the seated barbell press just seemed to be the best thing. So I was doing 3 rounds, and I was just gonna go up to a 6 rep max, but on my last set right here, I kind of decided why not just go for 10, because I wanted to burn out my shoulders and really make sure that I got a lot of blood to it. And so 185 for 10 reps was very good, especially after all those circus dumbbell implements. And then I just kept in the same format of doing the 6-way windmills, and I continued to do the shuttle run as well. But by the time I was done with all those, my shoulders were pretty gassed out. I'm actually glad that I chose the seated barbell press over the incline bench, because I absolutely got a mad pump to my shoulders. So that ended up being a good choice. Now for the assistance giant set, I was doing 3 rounds, and I kind of felt like I needed to pump some blood into those triceps. So here I'm doing a band tricep extension, and I'm doing it in a horizontal plane to try to really get some range of motion in that tricep and make sure that it's getting blood pumped to it. And then I would do the pull-up press right after that. Since I worked those obliques like crazy on the circus dumbbells and the 6-way windmills, I thought I would finish them off with the pull-up press to make sure that they were finished off by the time I was done with those obliques. And then I upped the run actually to 200 meters because I wanted to hit a mile total. So doing 3 rounds of that with 200 meters actually made it 1 mile total by the time I was done. Now for the accessory giant set, I was doing 3 rounds, and I was doing with a band a side delt raise. And I love doing this not only just to finish off my shoulders, but it helps with stability at the top of a lift when it comes to shoulder pressing. And it's great for athletics because it's a typical move people do when they're playing basketball and other things when you're trying to shove people off of your shoulder. And then I would jump over and do some tricep push-ups on that box. And this is just really to finish off my triceps and make sure it was getting more blood in there. Since I was doing an extension, now I'm doing a push with those triceps. And of course I ended with my favorite movement, the band face pull, to make sure that my rotator cuffs are nice and healthy and well balanced, since now I can isolate them a little bit better after all my main work. Well, tonight's workout ended up being absolutely fantastic. I definitely wanted to hit this on my right hand, so I was very happy I was able to do that and even strike a pose when I was done. This is a lot harder to lift than that normal circus dumbbell. With the circus dumbbell, you have to cant your wrist just a little bit differently, and it can rest on your forearm. So if you're wearing like wrist wraps like I am, then you're able to get it overhead a little bit easier because you have support. The Rogue Monster dumbbell actually has a thicker diameter in the handle. The other one is a 2.5 inch diameter. This is a 3 inch diameter, which makes it monstrous to try to pick up. And it has rounded edges, so you really can't rest your forearm on anything. You have to press up with raw strength. I think, in my opinion, it's a lot harder to lift these implements. But that's why we do it, so we can get stronger. Really appreciate everybody coming by tonight, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.